Hello, my name is Mike Pahsetopah, and we're going to go into some new lessons, going into maybe a little different direction that we have in times past. And so I wanted to say my greeting in Osage on this side of my father's side, I'm Osage, this side, my mother's side, Muskogee Creek, and Yuchi. I'm a fourth generation hand talker. And so at this time here, I'd like to bring up that if you get an opportunity to get this book, right here, Talking with Hands, and many of the lessons that we've covered, it was the notes from this, and it became a book. So this is an easy way to learn. I've been receiving phone calls and text messages and emails from different people that's interested in the book. You can order this book through Amazon. They say Target, Walmart, Books and Noble, Books A Million. They all have this book, and so I just encourage you to get it. And moving on. Hello is this. This movement here is similar to when you want to speak. So when we hold that hand up, that's a greeting, a salutation. Then for day is this, day. Then we may use the sign for good. This, good day. So when we're doing the sign language or the hand talk, which I call talking with hands, we don't think in terms of English grammar. We think in the mindset of direct communication, simplicity, and the ability to converse using signs. Like I said in the past, in the lessons, we did words, individual words. And today, I'd like to build a bridge that we can go over and go in deeper and kind of make this what we would call it. It's a means of communication. And it's something that's been lost. And that we're bringing it back. You know, with this book that's gone out, you know, it's going to be able to touch more. And this is just not for native people. I've been receiving texts from people that are deaf with hearing impairments that they say that the Plains Indian Sign Language is easier than American Sign Language. And so with that means that, you know, maybe we're going to be able to teach more in lines with this, so, you know, it can be applicable and a part of oneself. A couple of weeks ago at the Tulsa State Fair, I was sitting there with my family eating, and a gentleman walked by, and he had a little pendant of American flag with a little card that says that he was deaf. So I used the Plains Indian Sign Language and spoke to him, and he was trying to raise a little money and wanted to know if I wanted to buy it or make a donation. I said, no, you keep that, and I gave him some money, and he remembered me later on. He ran into me and he acknowledged me. But there were people all around that were watching as he was making signs, and when he said thank you in American Sign Language, I told him thank you in Plains Indian Sign Language. Brought tears to my wife's eyes because she saw two worlds coming together, and that, you know, I was able, and it was very touching later, and it was just so natural. So he understood me, and I understood him. Now, as I said, we're looking at this as saying good day. We'll take this up a little bit further on this word good. In Plains Indian Sign Language, let's say one that is really able to commune, he may use gestures, he may use pantomime, such as in storytelling. He may use emotions and feeling into his sign language. So let's say this word good. Let me make sure I'm going to stay on here. In the Plains Indian Sign Language, or in Indian Sign Language, hand talk, there's no word for beautiful. There's no word for, let's see, if I want to say gorgeous, magnificent, splendor, they use the word for good. So to extend it, let's say a person was looking at somebody that was dressed. This means clothing, okay? And you was to comment to them about what they were wearing, you would say, that looks good, okay? Now, let's say it was a person, maybe a native princess, or maybe somebody in colorful dance regalia there, where someone would say, oh man, that's just beautiful. But in Indian Sign Language, you may use a gesture that extended it by a facial expression. With that sound that was added to it, you know that was really, really good. So that was something that, you know, sometimes people say, well, what's the word for beautiful? Well, there's no word in sign language for beautiful, but good. But you extend it. You put that feeling. Maybe if it's somebody you ain't seen and you always say, oh, you look good, I ain't seen you in a long time. You might say, like that, which was saying, it's good to see you, you look good. You know, and you make smiles, you know, you could put that facial expression into it. Now, this being the fall season of the year, the sign for season is a moon, crescent moon, like a new moon, okay? So we use that moon for spring, for summer, for fall, and winter. All we do is we add a couple other different signs, 4 other signs, that connect them together. So fall would be this season right here, and then trees. These are trees, you know, you're walking through the woods or you see trees. And then when the leaves begin to fall. So trees, yeah, that's the sign they use for fall. Now for Indian summer, which is also in this season, we would say Native American or Indian. And then a sign for summer would be the heat from the sun when it's hot. That's what this means, hot. So Indian, summer, or fall. Now, let's say when it's Indian summer, the nights get cold. Okay? So the sign for night is this. All right, now, another way to sign for night is that this would be the sun. And it goes up over the hand for noon, and as that sun goes down in the west. Now that's one sign that some Plains Indians will use, just to show the diversity. Many of us, you know, that means that sun dropped. night. So nighttime, when it begins to get cold in the fall, you wrap up with a blanket. So a sign for blanket would be you have the blanket out here and then you cross. That means blanket. All right. Not to get it confused with the sign for winter, which would be this. I did this earlier for cold. But also a sign for winter would be the snow as the flurries come down. So you see the leaves, and then you see the snow. Then if you was to see rain, that's for rain. So you can see the similarity. You can see the hand positioning, and that's all important rules in hand talk. If we make it simple and we know where our hands are supposed to be at a certain time, you won't get confused with the other signs that would be similar, okay? Just like using one finger signs like for man, we may also use that sign for come, here, river, snake, see, all with that index finger. But it's the positioning of you how to use that. And you might angle your body. If there are people you're talking to is over here or over here, you just angle that body. Just like in boxing, hand position is important. You know, how your structure is. So I incorporated a lot of these rules into the sign language so a person knows correct hand positioning. And so I've implemented it into this. Let's see. Let's use this one here. The tree is pretty. Okay, how would you say that in sign language? Okay, there's a tree. Let's use, there's one tree. That's the sign for one. We'll use this number. One tree is pretty. There's that sign for good. So right now you'll see a lot of trees out there, and they're beginning to change as you look at them. Leaves are falling. So as you can see that hand positioning is very important. Now, this being the season that it is, there's a lot of things that we do as people. People go hunting. Deer season is getting ready to happen probably this weekend. And bow season, gun season. When we do hunting, usually the sign for hunting is like a bow and an arrow. But this also be turned into like a rifle, like this. So there's similarities from here to this. So when the sign for deer is this, the antlers. Okay. So we're going to use some lines and stuff to kind of bring out some things on this season here. Let's say I went hunting and I shot a deer. I would say this. That means shot one deer. I shot one deer. Let's say that I went hunting and I seen a deer. How would we do that? I seen one deer. See, it gets smoother, the movement of this with your hands. It's almost like art if you look at it. Now, let's say the deer eats grass. We'd sign deer eats grass. Okay. Let's say the deer was big. Deer, big. That's a sign for big. Let's say the deer was small. Deer small. How would we do time to hunt? Well, to hunt, you might have your bow and your arrow and you're looking. Time. Now here's how we do time. This is present time. This is past time. This is a time ahead. So right now it's time to hunt deer. Time. Hunt deer. Let's say you missed. What would happen then would be the deer was fast. The motion of this finger shows speed. Okay, go is this. Go. Okay, walk is this. Maybe the deer was walking, and the deer heard me, and he ran. He jumped over a tree and was gone. Throw your hands up for gone. Now let's use the word for two, because we need to be able to get the hands in motion. Let's say I seen two. Okay. Now naturally we're thinking this for two or this for two, but in sign language it's here. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. I'll keep it simple. So we'll go back to 2. I seen 2 deer. Christmas time gets closer. I might use those deer for Santa's sleigh. How many deer? How many deer? Then you can say, so that'll be next season. At the end of fall comes winter. So how would we sign at the end of fall comes winter? In sign language, we go at the end of fall comes winter. At, this is how you locate it. At the end, the action is always here, in this hand. The end of, you got the trees, you got the leaves coming down, fall. This is comes winter. You can bump your fists together, kind of show that it's cold. Maybe in that you might want to add that gesture, that facial movement like you get when you're cold. And that's good. That means the person that you're communicating with, you might be using words to speak, but you're also using that sign language too, that adds to it. Wind. Wind. A lot of times as the leaves are falling, that the wind is blowing. So on the wind, the hands come down like this. That means wind, blowing the leaves away. They blow them away. So wind, maybe that wind is cold if it's coming in from the north. So this would be north, because we want to be facing the east. This would be the south and the west back here. As you look around, let's say that we go back to a tree. That one tree there is big. That tree is small. So you get to see big, you get to see small. So these words that you learned in times past, you're going to be able, if you can recall them and you practice, you'll be able to put them in together, merge them, to create a sentence. But like I've said before, we're not trying to carry out that sign so much in the English, but in Plains Indian Sign Language, the hand talk. And that's one of the main emphasis that we struggle with, is that for so long that we've learned grammar and how a sentence is structured in sign language, we break all of those rules. You know, you may cut off the words like is and to and from, just those little small words that connect. Well, in sign language, you know, we eliminate that, and to say it would almost sound like it was broken, but when we sign it, you can see that it's not. You know, like instead of saying the tree fell here, you would say tree fell here. So you use three signs for that, and to communicate it in that way. Now, when we practice this sign language and these hand signs individually, we may use the word for, let's say, make yourself practice. Okay, so we'll take that word make and we'll bump the fist together. That means to make. Just like if your mom was cooking in the kitchen, that she was making something. So this word here we would use make. And sometimes make and work can be used in both ways. So here I'm going to say make, you practice. So practice reminds me of the hands that are working. You know, you're working with your hands. So make, you work, hand talk. See, that's how you would say it in Indian Sign Language. So very, very simple, very direct. Now, we'll kind of break from that fall tempo and kind of go into using some other things that you could say. I walked to the river. I walked to the river. I walked to the river. Or the sign for TP and where you live at now can mean the same. Back a long time ago, that would be your dwelling. Okay, it means different ways we can use that, like for a building, or for a home, house, any kind of structure like that, even a TP, is here. Let's say I stand in front of the TP, or I stand in front of the house. See? Different ways that we can use this sign right here, and that can mean the same. Let's say it's time to go. Okay? We won't use it, but we will say time to go. Time, go. Time, go. Which means time to go. I stay. Sometimes this word stay can be out here, almost like stop. Stay. Stay. I stay here. I stay there. You know, the position of that finger is like here, there, which, you know, in that sign language, again, it's simple. And let's say you was told to go to the store to get food. How would you sign that in a sign language? You go get food. No word for Sonic or Whataburger. And they say it would be this. A burger, you would put bread and then meat, sandwich. I've seen my grandpa used to do that sign for a sandwich. But you go get means you're getting something and bringing it back. Food. Okay. Let's say you're somewhere, you're watching maybe a basketball game, watching TV, you're at a powwow, and you're watching them dance. The word you would say, you sit here, watch. You sit here and watch. If we want to say hear or listen, there's similarities in that. To hear, you do this. Now in the direction of the sound, you can add that finger. Okay? If you're having difficulty in hearing, you might do this. Maybe somebody's comes up to you talking and you're trying to hear, you might do this. And so they'll stop. So say you sit here, watch, and listen. So it's a little bit of things here that we can use. Let me see where we stand at here on time. Wow, we did it. We'll be back soon for another lesson in talking with hands. I've enjoyed the time that we've had together, and it was good. So, no word for goodbye. I'll see you again.